Walking is the best possible exercise. Habituate yourself to walk very far. Mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. When we get piled upon one another in large cities, as in Europe, we shall become as corrupt as Europe. A wise and frugal government, which shall restrain men from injuring one another, shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. No occupation is so delightful to me as the culture of the earth, and no culture comparable to that of the garden. He who knows nothing is closer to the truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods and errors. It is error alone which needs the support of government. Truth can stand by itself. All, too, will bear in mind this sacred principle, that though the will of the majority is in all cases to prevail, that will to be rightful must be reasonable, that the minority possess their equal rights, which equal law must protect, and to violate would be oppression. Leave all the afternoon for exercise and recreation, which are as necessary as reading. I will rather say more necessary because health is worth more than learning. Leave all the afternoon for exercise and recreation, which are as necessary as reading. I will rather say more necessary because health is worth more than learning. Rightful liberty is unobstructed action according to our will within limits drawn around us by the equal rights of others. I do not add within the limits of the law because law is often but the tyrant's will, and always so when it violates the rights of the individual. Peace and friendship with all mankind is our wisest policy, and I wish we may be permitted to pursue it. Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers, or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter. When a man assumes a public trust he should consider himself a public property. I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever. I have sworn upon the altar of God, eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Nothing gives one person so much advantage over another as to remain always cool and unruffled under all circumstances. The man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. A Bill of Rights is what the people are entitled to against every government, and what no just government should refuse, or rest on inference. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free, in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. It is the great parent of science and of virtue, and that a nation will be great in both, always in proportion as it is free. Our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. Nothing can now be believed which is seen in a newspaper. Truth itself becomes suspicious by being put into that polluted vehicle. I, however, place economy among the first and most important republican virtues, and public debt as the greatest of the dangers to be feared. Yet the hour of emancipation is advancing. This enterprise is for the young, for those who can follow it up, and bear it through to its consummation. It shall have all my prayers, and these are the only weapons of an old man. The two principles on which our conduct towards the Indians should be founded, are justice and fear. After the injuries we have done them, they cannot love us. The expedition of Messrs. Lewis and Clark for exploring the river Missouri, and the best communication from that to the Pacific Ocean, has had all the success which could have been expected. I agree with you that it is the duty of every good citizen to use all the opportunities, which occur to him, for preserving documents relating to the history of our country. I had rather be shut up in a very modest cottage with my books, my family and a few old friends, dining on simple bacon, and letting the world roll on as it liked, than to occupy the most splendid post, which any human power can give. Whenever the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government, that whenever things get so far wrong as to attract their notice, they may be relied on to set them to rights. There is no act, however virtuous, for which ingenuity may not find some bad motive. When angry, count 10 before you speak, if very angry, an 100. In matters of style, swim with the current; in matters of principle, stand like a rock. I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. The care of human life and happiness, and not their destruction, is the first and only object of good government. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Question with boldness even the existence of a God, because, if there be one, he must more approve of the homage of reason, than that of blindfolded fear.